All right, ladies and gentlemen, we have reached the penultimate volume reading of Fire Force. Once I'm done with this volume, there's only one more to read, and we're done with the entire series. So let's go ahead and get started, shall we? Yo, peoples, Kyushu92 here, and welcome to the penultimate reading of Fire Force. Today, we're going to be checking out volume 33 of this series, titled The Inevitability of Despair. So let's go ahead and get started. Halster, it's always good to see you. Summary. Assault's doppelganger confronts Tamaki, but when faced with the real Assault and people who affirm the eroticism brings hope to the world, he is utterly defeated. Joker fights his own doppelganger and almost loses, but is rescued by Burns, who now looks like a doppelganger himself. Benimaru's doppelganger challenges Kurono to a duel, but he comes up short in a toughest versus maddest battle against the real Benimaru. In the midst of all these powerhouse death machines, Shinra and Sho infiltrate Adolla, where they find themselves face to face with Haomiya. The final battle to save the world starts now! And Halster, you say like the cover is sick? It really is good. It really is good. The cover art is so good! Oh, I must have had something on my fingers. You know, the thing about covers and cover art for manga that has like white stuff on it, you can really make out like, hey, that smudge shouldn't be there. But the chapters we are going to be going through is chapter 280... No. 200 and... We're in the 280s, yes? 287? CCL triple XVII. I gotta double check. CCL triple XVII. That translates to, 87. Okay. 287. I had to double check. Y'all know these Roman numeral chapter titles be getting me. I'm so used to it just saying the number itself and not being Roman numerals, but I guess that's what makes it unique. 287 all the way down to 295. Yeah, 295. 287 down to 295. Let's begin. The little saintess closed her beautiful eyes until the coming day. She shut out the light, receiving the revelation of God, and searching for light within the darkness. All the while, the little saintess patiently endured with eyes shut, as the dark and sinister emotions of the human race gushed into her unfiltered. She opened her eyes, and she knew. Chapter 287, The Saintess of Despair. And we're here with the Adolla eye above the earth. Her eyes were gazing at the earth, at the unconscious mind of the planet. The saintess opened her immaculate eyes, and first she shed a single tear. It was a tear for the soldier who had served her faithfully to the very end, referring to Charon, and beholding the light at the edge of the long darkness, she offered praise.
Brothers, chosen by destiny.
And then Shinra and Arthur look at Haomiya's face. And her eyes, filled with mercy and grief, drew everything in. Is she blind? Has Haomiya been blind this entire time? Because her eyes looked hazed over, and she's shedding a single tear. We see the full face of Haomiya now, but is she blind? Even the brothers with the power to stop time lost precious moments, unable to look away from the saintess and her mercy.
Now, Inka, Sumire, join me.
The girl with the power to see the future saw the sad fate that outstretched hand offered her, and yet she took that hand without hesitation. It was a fate of hatred and catastrophe. As Haomiya and Sister Sumire take as the hands of Sumire and Inka, they grab onto Haomiya, and then Inka and Sumire are engulfed in flames, like just straight up real flames. They are just burned immediately. And then Inka is just screaming out loud. Then we get more narration. A human death. It is at once despair and salvation.
How I've waited for this day. Thank you. Thank you.
As both Inka and Sumire are engulfed in flames and die. Of all the ways for Inka to go out, I was not expecting this. And then Shinra goes,
What? How could you?
The Saintess laments this phenomenon more than any other. This is an undeniable truth. And Haomiya is just standing there with tears in her eyes.
How could you do that to them? They were on your side! Death. It's the only true salvation. You're just making that up so...
Pardon me. This ultimate sausage, egg, and cheese biscuit from Biscuitville.
You're just making that up so you can feel better. There's no way death can be salvation.
My brother speaks rightly. However, if any has the right to justify that contradiction, it is God. She has assimilated the entirety of the human collective unconscious. She has assimilated every mythological history ever created by the human race. As such, one might say that Haomiya is now God.
Oh, great. Haomiya has basically absorbed everything that is, and now she simply is. And the Evangelist is right behind Haomiya.
The Evangelist! So you've come out of hiding!
The Evangelist is the embodiment of the collective human unconscious.
Really? Her?
The collective unconscious is a shared subconscious wish that has been held in common and carried on through generations of human history. The Evangelist is a personification of the human unconscious, the being that will make the secret desires of humankind a reality.
Sounds like the final boss of Persona 5, where it was just the amalgamation of everyone's desires, and it also wanted to become a god. It's just like that final boss in Persona 5. Man, that was such a good game. I still can't believe I platinumed it on my very first try. Still missed out on a conversation with one person, so my Persona log is at 99%, so I gotta play through it again in order to get it to 100%. But you understand.
The visions of despair we witnessed on our journey here, they are the Evangelist's true form.
You are correct. As the Saintess, I have received the transmissions of the collective unconscious all my life. What is the Evangelist? What is the subconscious? I have learned the answer.
The words of the Saintess were spoken without falsehood. The brothers knew that what she said was true.
So, what is the answer? The final destination of the imagination. At the end of its evolution, the human race wishes for extinction. It is not the gods that created human beings. We humans produce gods from our despair. And it is those gods that then create new despair.
Yes, Junko Enoshima would definitely love to be around Haomiya right now.
Then what exactly is a god? The great sun god. Yes, God is religion, or friends, information, science, art, culture, family. It could be anything to anyone, as long as it represents their salvation. But on the other side of that salvation, human history contains war, massacre, accidents, disasters, illness. The heavy damage from these phenomena have produced much more despair. We have learned much from all that despair and gained ethics, values, medicine, technology, law. Civilization progressed, the value of each individual soul increased, and we succeeded in keeping death at bay. Humankind wanted safety, but did it really? As we become safer, our salvation grows stronger. Death becomes more fearsome. That fear grows into our hearts, and so too does despair. And what do you think happened as a result? The Great Cataclysm.
As it shows the world of the past being engulfed in flames.
Shinra, young savior, if you are to stop the cycle of salvation and despair, is there any way to bring deliverance without death?
And this, wow, Haomiya has just really gone off the deep end here. And that's the end of chapter 287. Onwards to 288. What is salvation?
In these times, it is considered natural to save someone whenever danger approaches. Thus, the more sure the salvation, the greater the corresponding despair. After serving as a fire soldier, you should understand this better than anyone. Shinra. Humanity is doomed to repeat this cycle of despair and salvation. How do you intend to deliver them without giving them death?
And it once again shows like the skull of Lord Death from Soul Eater again. And Shinra just looks on.
Death can't be the only way. That makes no sense. It can't be true that everyone is wishing for death. Outwardly, they surely are not. But what about deep in their psyches? Even those who value human life and sought salvation have chosen death. Huh? Amaterasu, the pillar of humanity's revival and prosperity. The women who in fact upheld the very lives of humankind, they learned of the cycle and accepted their fate. See for yourself, there is no such thing as eternity.
And we look into the pillar of Amaterasu, and we peer into it, and we see both Amaterasu herself and Sister Iris impaled on spikes inside of this pillar.
No! I offered them the salvation of death, and they accepted. Don't make yourself sound so righteous! You killed them, Haomiya!
Brother.
As Shinra is shaking violently, and he flies towards Haomiya and attempts to kick her. But it doesn't connect.
What will you do then? Will you kill me? Darn right I will! I'm gonna kill you and break this stupid cycle! Don't you understand? The only way to salvation is through death.
And then we have Sho popping up.
Brother, you're playing right into the god's hands.
And then Shinra lands.
You hurt Sister Iris, and I'm gonna make you pay!
And then we see the pillar, the first pillar, disappear. The pillar of fire disappear, and then we see Sister Iris and Amaterasu just still on these spikes high into the air.
Shinra, for 12 years you've been propelled forward by your rage and thirst for revenge. The rage you felt because your family was taken from you. That rage, too, can only be dispelled with my death.
Brother, you must not give in to anger. Look at me. I stand here beside you.
And Shinra still stands with his fist clenched as he groans,
Sister Iris!
And he's thinking about all the times he's been with Sister Iris. Like her being right next to him, and then her at the workshop, her flexing after they came back from Asakusa, them going to the sunflower bed in the cemetery, and Shinra showing concern for her, with her saying, thank you for your concern. Then we cut back to Shinra, and he's huffing and puffing as he grabs his chest. Then Sho!
You mustn't let the anger overwhelm you. Calm yourself, brother.
And then Shinra looks like he calms down. And then we cut back to Sister Iris, who's still very much impaled on this spike. They make it a point to show her hanging on this spike off to the side.
Anger is the most effective ingredient in summoning death and despair.
I know. I'm sorry, Sho.
Remain calm. If anyone can do this, brother, you can.
You may be able to stave off the salvation gained by granting death, but it will not disappear.
My brother hasn't fought only for revenge, but to defend human life. Nor is this a battle for revenge. It is a fight to protect people.
It's for my friends, the ones who are still here.
Brother, time is at my command.
And Sho unsheaths his sword. And then the feathers that fall around his sword when he stops time, it starts to fall around in this whole world of Adolla.
You can move, brother?
Of course I can. I'm your big brother.
As it shows Sho and Shinra launching towards Halmia and the Evangelist.
Let us end this.
For our friends!
And they look like they're about to hit Halmia, but both of their attacks sway off to the side, as if they never hit her in the first place. One thing to notice about Halmia is that the crown she once had wrapped around her head has expanded and has frayed out just a little bit more. It's now literally a halo right around her head. But their attacks just completely miss Halmia. They completely miss. And it shows Sho and Shinra launching backwards.
Did you do something?
My blade.
My kick.
But only my brother and I can move within frozen time.
Halmia didn't move an inch. So how? What happened? Why didn't our attacks hit her?
And it shows Halmia standing there with the Evangelist behind her, completely unscathed. And that's the end of chapter 288, onwards to 289, joined as one. And we're still here in the world of Adolla.
I stopped time in order to attack Halmia.
Yeah, I attacked too. I know I did.
What the heck did you do, Halmia?
I didn't do anything. I only stood here, existing. Yes, like the despair that is constantly among us. Give me a break! You did something! What was it?
I know of only one person who can do such a thing. You are using Inca's power.
The other pillar's souls are with me. That includes Sumire's, of course. Sumire's, of course.
And then Halmia raises her hand, and using a shockwave, like an earthquake shockwave, she sends both Shinra and Sho flying backwards even further through Adolla. And Shinra got hurt because he's suddenly bleeding from the nose and mouth, coughing.
Will you die in the Saintess's place, Savior? Either way, fate will take us to despair.
And then Shinra launches at Halmia and tries to hit her. And he sweeps his leg, but it's almost as if his leg goes through Halmia completely and nothing connects.
Dang it! I should be making contact!
And he tries again. But it still doesn't work. Like, he tries to hit Halmia multiple times, but it just keeps avoiding her completely. His kicks keeps avoiding her.
It is futile. Fate has determined that you cannot touch me. The heck? That's not a thing! I've had enough of your crap!
And then we have Sho.
Brother, stop being reckless.
And then Halmia puts her hands towards the ground, and a massive explosion erupts, causing Shinra to fly high into the air, and this hurts him once more.
You're saying the world will be full of despair whether I win this fight or not? Then what the heck am I supposed to do?
First, you are to calm yourself. We can be certain that your despair or your death will trigger the great cataclysm that destroys the world. Ultimately, the impact of the great cataclysm depends on you, the Savior. The Saintess has no control over it.
I just have to stay alive and not give in to anger. And stop Halmia! I fight to help the people!
As Shinra flies back in the air and attempts to hit Halmia again, but once again his attack just goes through her completely.
I don't care about your predetermined fate, death or fate. I'll show them who's boss!
And it shows Sho and Shinra trying to hit Halmia, but their attacks continue to pass through her. It's almost like Obito, to a degree, whenever he's using Kamui to allow attacks to just simply phase through him. And once again, they get bodied by shockwaves. Sumire's shockwaves that Halmia is using.
For my friends! But have you managed to protect anyone you care about?
And then the image of Sister Iris pops into his head, and he starts to get angry. So Haumea is already using that against him.
Brother!
The flames of rage can only be extinguished by your enemy's death.
Brother!
Don't worry. Revenge is what turned me into a devil. But the flames of revenge are also what turned you into a hero. Telling yourself that you're saving lives makes your actions more palatable, but is that palatable justice really the only thing that brought you this far?
The Saintess possessed an absolute justice, devoid of malice. The fact that it was correct in every way grated on his nerves.
I am not a devil. I'm a fire soldier. I fight for people, for human life.
But his words were as weak as tiny fish struggling against a cascading waterfall. They bore no weight compared to those of the Saintess, shouldering as she was the godhood that was the subconscious wish of the whole human race. Humankind lives by platitudes and false pretenses. Each individual wears a mask that hides their true intentions. As it shows Sho and Shinra still constantly trying to attack Haumea, because it's like a really zoomed out view and it gets closer and closer as this outside narration continues. Humans by nature are instinctual and barbaric. The evolution of civilization has suppressed that nature. That is all. That is all. What is a person's true intent? That is simple. It is the most primal instinct. To kill. And it shows the tensed up, shadowed, and detailed face of Shinra. The only way to be saved is for the enemy to die, even knowing it does not bring salvation. The instinct remains. What come what may, to kill is the only option. And then it shows Shinra and his flames, and they turn into like those same heel spurs when he was fighting Burns not too long ago. They flare out right next to him, with Sho going,
Brother, no! You're playing right into Haumea's hands!
Don't worry, Sho. I'm not mad. I'm totally cool. You're a bad liar, Shinra. I'm fighting for the whole world. You won't be able to defend yourself that way.
As Haumea points to him. Haumea points to Shinra, and a hole just opens up his whole chest. She just points her finger, and she straight up hollow purples his chest. And there's just a hole in it now.
With your death, the great cataclysm will be complete, and humankind will be saved.
And Haumea says this after causing a hole to just explode in Shinra's chest with tears in her eyes. How strong is she? But that's the end of chapter 289. Onwards to 290, Penetrating Hope. As a hole just gets, as Haumea blasts a hole straight through Shinra, like through his whole chest. And Shinra falls over.
Brother! Now, this despair too, which could only be resolved through death, comes to an end.
No, it cannot be over yet. Not for my brother, not for Company 8, and not for this world that they've fought so long to protect.
Now that it has lost its savior, this world will return to the flames.
Silence!
And then Sho is shocked to see that Shinra still holds on to him. As Shinra gets up, and a flame comes out of his chest. And he's fine. It's like a flame comes out of his chest in the shape of a snake.
Don't worry about me. I'm fine. She has intervened from Earth through an Adolla link?
These snake flames.
And we look at the snake itself, and we cut right back. And we cut right back to the real world as we see Captain Huang. It's Captain Huang as the scar she has on her hand and her whole arm starts trembling and it starts flaming. As we as we see Captain Huang's body start to light on fire.
Shinra, I used the stigma I got when I treated you before to link with you and heal your wounds.
And then Hibana is there, along with Lieutenant Hagaway.
Kayuko-san! Captain!
And it shows, wow. It shows Captain Huang getting engulfed by flames.
But it looks like it wasn't my place to touch those flames.
And she kneels to the ground as her body is starting to get consumed all over by fire. Wow. So when she healed Shinra, this is the side effect of it triggering. In place of Shinra coming back, we are losing Captain Hagaway. Captain Huang.
Captain!
Goes Hagaway.
No, don't get near those flames! Shinra, please, you have to come back to us! You and Iris!
And this is Hibana. Then we cut back to Shinra, who's been fully healed. This is straight up like Ichigo being healed by the Vasto Lorde hollow powers within him. It's just like that.
Captain Huang, Captain Hibana, Lieutenant Hagaway. I hear you. I can see what's happening on Earth. It's flowing into me. I couldn't have made it this far without all of your support.
And then we have Sho.
Brother, it's okay. I won't let anger get the better of me anymore. I am not a devil! I'm a hero! I fight to protect people's lives and property!
Shinra proclaims as he stares down Haomiya. And then it shows Shinra, who just pops right next to Haomiya. He doesn't move. He's just there. And he tries to punch Haomiya, but his punch once again misses her. And she's just standing there once more. But the thing is, her hair actually moves. See, beforehand, when Sho and Shinra were trying to attack her before, not even the air itself around Haomiya was being disturbed, where even when they slashed towards her and towards her face, nothing was disturbed, not even by air movements. But Shinra punches close to Haomiya, or tries to punch her, and now we're actually getting some air disturbance, where her hair actually moves, which means Shinra's doing something.
It is futile. Fate has decided that you cannot touch me. It is a predetermined fact, like the despair of this world.
Looks like that's not entirely true. Your hair swayed. That means it must be possible to affect you. If it were impossible, her hair would not move. Then the future is not set in stone. So the unconscious conclusion might not actually be death.
A breeze so gentle it only moves hair can't change anything.
Wrong. Just as the minor flapping of a butterfly's wings may eventually transform into a great tempest.
They're talking about the butterfly effect.
There is no telling what change a slight breeze may set in motion. That's why the evangelist is so scared of a little breeze like me.
And then Shinra goes to punch Haomiya again, but he gets sent flying because of the shockwaves, Sumire shockwaves.
The evangelist fears nothing. We have accepted all.
That's not true!
It is. See the earth? The final flames of despair are about to ignite.
What? What are you talking about?
As we cut back to the real world, and we get Hinawa. Everyone, remain calm. This way to safety. Then we have Maki.
Captain, it looks like we will be finished evacuating the sector in a few minutes.
Really? Good work. Now all we have to do is wait here and believe in Shinra. Then we have a lady going,
My eyes aren't what they used to be.
Will you be all right? The shelter is over there. And this elderly lady going,
Even my bad eyes can see how bright you shine, fire soldier.
I'm doing my best to make sure no one loses hope. And then we have Vulcan.
Licked. It looks like all the fires in this area have been put out. Then let's check on the status of the utilities around the shelter. Copy that.
Now we just need to finish evacuating all the remaining civilians and someone's walking up behind Licht. Huh? Is something the matter? It's Captain Obi. Is something the matter, sir? No. I just came to see how things are going over here. Huh? Wait, if this is Captain Obi... Wait, hold on. Is something the matter, sir? No, I just came to see how things are going over here. All right, well, there aren't any problems. Licht, the plumbing is working at the shelter, and the generator... Is something wrong? Oh, the captain was here. But why? I thought he was leading the evacuation.
Captain, we finished evacuating all the civilians here.
Good work. There's just one thing left to do.
What?
As Tamaki looks on, and we have two Captain Obis that are standing there. And we see a knife. We see a knife, and the doppelganger of Captain Obi walks up behind him and slits Captain Obi's throat. I honestly thought someone was going to get stabbed. Captain Obi's doppelganger just slit his throat. And Captain Obi drops to his knees as Tamaki screams out. And Shinra, being able to see what's happening in the real world as well, he sees Captain Obi be assassinated.
The light has gone out.
No, brother! As Shinra, the anger just overtakes him, and we get Shinra with this devilish look in his eye, and that's the end of chapter 290. We just lost Captain Obi. Chapter 291, Into a Second Sun. And we see blood, and we see Shinra, who's just overcome with anger, and we have Sho going, "You mustn't let the anger overwhelm you!" As we see Captain Obi, the half of the body of Captain Obi laying in a pool of an increasing pool of blood. And Haomiya crying her eyes out going,
"Now, the world will be saved."
And we see the flame, and we see a teardrop as the flames of Adolla get stronger and stronger. And then we have Shinra, who's screaming out, and the whole world just erupts into flames. It just shows the world from the outside, and it just goes off. Flames go for thousands of miles out from the earth itself. The whole planet just erupts in fire. We see the Tokyo Empire, and it's rumbling. Then we see the flames of Adolla, and then we see people being overtaken by the flames of Adolla. Everyone is being caught up in it. Everyone, Lisa, Licht, Vulcan, and they're all screaming as these flames are starting to overtake them. And Licht, while he's on fire, goes, "Joker, I think it's all over." Then we have Joker, who's watching all of the entire Tokyo Empire, not engulfed in normal flames, but engulfed in the black flames of Adolla. Burns. It seems Shinra has given in to his rage, and humanity has lost its future. Yeah, I was watching too. Are you going to let it all end now, Shinra? As Burns and Joker are swept up in the Adolla flames as well. Then we have Captain Obi, who's still laying on the ground as Tamaki, Hinawa, and Maki are looking in utter disbelief. Even Hinawa, whose eyes rarely show that much emotion, there's just immediate sadness, as he's the only one who speaks, going, "No, that's impossible." And then Tamaki, Maki, Hinawa, and Captain Obi are engulfed in the flames of Adolla. And it shows the flames engulfing every part of the city more and more. Asakusa is in the path of these flames, while the people of Asakusa are going, "What's going on? There's a bunch of black flames racing right towards us.
We're doomed. It's all over.
Waka!" And then Benimaru slams a drink down.
Hey, punks! Have a drink!
What?
Wonka, this is an emergency. We have to evacuate the town and get people to higher ground. Look at the sky. Look at that sky.
As they look up, and the flames of Adolla are engulfing the sky as well. There's nowhere to go.
There's nowhere left to run on this entire planet. All we can do now is trust in Shinra. You're certainly not wrong. Booze! Everybody get a drink! If you can't drink, get whatever you want!
As Benimaru sits on a whole bundle of Matois and he's just flying in the air, while everyone's going, "Waka! Benimaru!"
With all this happening to the world, not even I can save all of you. Sorry about that!
Come on, Benny, don't apologize. It's all good.
But that doesn't mean I'm gonna abandon you. I'm going with you, all the way to the afterlife.
As Benimaru takes a drink of sake, and he holds up his dish, and he smiles while he's in the air.
Let's sit back and enjoy the show.
As everyone just gets a whole bunch of drink and they start celebrating with, you know what? Even in the face of imminent death, everyone from Asakusa just takes it all in stride. If everyone here in Asakusa operates on the will of D mentality. It's all like, hey, we're in the face of imminent death. Oh well, let's just go out with a bang. It's people from Asakusa are just so, especially when Benimaru's telling them like, don't worry, I'm gonna be there with you. They're all like, if Benimaru's going to be there with us, let's accept the end of the world together. I love their mentality. I really do. They're so understanding. But they start celebrating, and we even see the moon in the sky. Moon in the sky, it once had like this single dotted eye expression on its eye, but I think it's closing its eyes as it's smiling with the rest of everyone in Asakusa. But everyone's cheering, "Yo, Delighter of Asakusa! Go on, get some booze. If you don't have a drink, go get one. Benny! The moon looks like it's smiling too." It looks like it's genuinely smiling. Not like that big old static smile, but a genuine smile. Benny! That's our Delighter, all right. So no longer the destroyer of Asakusa, the Delighter of Asakusa. And we have Benimaru just chilling with Conro. Benny!
What about you, Conro? Don't you want a drink?
Just like that, you wiped away all the fear in Asakusa. You've grown into a real class act, Benimaru.
If I didn't have Asakusa, I'd never been anything more than a flaming fiery monster my whole life. I owe it all to you and the old boss. Thanks.
Conro takes a drink. Benimaru takes a drink and he goes,
"Let's go see him again. Together."
And they drink their sake, they clink their cups, and they are both engulfed in the flames of Adolla. Then we cut to Yona and Ritsu, who we haven't seen. We haven't seen Yona in a hot minute. We haven't seen Yona a hot minute, and we haven't seen Ritsu since she helped attack Amaterasu. Help try and get into Amaterasu when Company 8 was on their way there. But Yona, we really haven't seen in a long time. It's sad to see 1 or 2 volumes ago. It looked so good. It's such a drastic turn, just a couple of chapters. Seriously. Everyone is getting engulfed in flames. This is not how I thought this story was going to go. And the fact that we still have 1 more volume, Lord! But we have Yona here with Ritsu. The time has come at last. Thanks to our having implanted the teachings of the Holy Soul Temple and the idea of returning to the sun into the human imagination, the extinction is going quite smoothly. It is the birth of a second sun. Now I too can return to the flames of Adolla, as both Yona and Ritsu are engulfed in these Adolla flames as well. And as we see these flames of Adolla, we zoom out from the world. And we zoom out from the world, and now the Earth is just a black sun. Opposite of the classic sun that we always seen. You know, the fiery, yellowish, orangish, reddish, depending on the day. The OG sun we know. And now the Earth is just a black flaming sun. And that's the end of the chapter. We're not even done with the volume. We still have more. But we end this chapter with the world completely turned into a blazing black sun. The great cataclysm has succeeded. The great cataclysm was a success. The whole world has been turned into a sun, the very thing we read about, but hoped would never happen or would be stopped before it happened. This is the equivalent of Thanos snapping his fingers and extinguishing 50% of all life in the entire universe. The villains won. But let's see what happens next. The villains won for now. Let's see what happens next. Chapter 292, The Fourth Time. And we just have narration. The sun, believed to be mainly composed of hydrogen gas, is said to have a surface temperature of approximately 6,000 degrees Celsius. Additionally, its outermost atmosphere, the corona, has temperatures surpassing 1 million degrees. The prominences, the arced gas plumes that erupt from this corona, have temperatures of 10,000 degrees. In other words, no creature exists that can live on the sun. Here, a second sun was born. The water planet has become one of fire. And it shows Sho with tears in his eyes, kneeling down, going,
All has ended. I'm sorry, brother. I should have stopped this.
And then it shows Haumia.
The Earth has become a sun. Its surface has joined with our Adolla. We three are the only ones left on Earth.
And then it shows Shinra, but he's covered in shadow.
I won't let everything disappear without a fight, Haumia. I'm gonna murder you with my own hands! Humanity's wish has come true. Please grant me, too, the salvation of death. Shut up! I will end you!
And then there's a glint. There's a glint in space. You stupid idiot! Someone screams, and he gets bonked in the head by something. And yeah, Shinra gets bonked in the head by a massive slash. He gets bonked in the head, much to the surprise of Sho and the silence of Haumia.
What happened?
You promised me, remember, devil? It's Arthur!
Art?
I said I'd give you 3 chances. Don't try and tell me you forgot. I struck you down just like I promised. Remember when we went to see Hogaway at Company 4?
I asked if you were a hero or a devil. I vowed that if you gave the wrong answer, I would slay you.
Shinra's the fourth pillar's guardian? Everyone in Company 8 is dead, and it's all my fault. Arthur, what do I do?
The fact that Arthur's back and he's fully, like, he's got his legs. His whole body's back. He's got his arm. He got his legs. His outfit isn't massively torn. He's fully regenerated. You cannot kill this man.
Arthur, what do I do?
And then Shinra gets bonked in the head again.
Times like these do not call for whining.
At times like these, how am I supposed to do anything but whine?
And then Arthur looks like he's about to hit Shinra in the head again. The thing is, Arthur's in space, and he's hitting Shinra all the way in the world of Adolla. He's just casually swinging his sword and hitting Shinra from space, perfectly in the middle of his head. If that is not the most perfect aim in all of manga and anime history, I don't know what is. I thought Kizaru was crazy accurate with him being able to hit things from a distance, even something as small as a key from miles out. But we got Arthur perfectly hitting Shinra in the middle of his skull from space. Hundreds upon thousands of miles in space, and he's able to accurately hit Shinra in the head with his sword. That is beyond human comprehension levels of perfect aiming. But Arthur looks like he's about to hit Shinra in the head again, and Shinra covers his head again.
How will it help anything to give up? You're the one person who can't give up, even if the whole world is full of despair.
Yeah, not once, but twice. He hit Shinra in the head twice.
You know why that is, don't you?
Because I'm a hero.
And then it shows Shinra standing there, no longer filled with anger and despair.
No matter how bleak things get, I won't give up hope. Even if the answer chosen by humankind's collective unconscious is despair, I won't give up. No matter what kind of tragedy fate has in store, I'm a hero, and I'll twist it all around.
And Shinra smiles, and then it cuts back to Arthur.
Honestly, this prince is such a handful.
Isn't he, Excalibur?
Fools!
So it's true that when a weapon is used with fervent enough emotion, it gains a soul.
Fools!
Oh my goodness! We have learned the origins of Excalibur from Soul Eater! Ah! What? What? We've learned the origins of Excalibur from Soul Eater! I knew that. Okay, so the thing I learned is that Soul Eater and Fire Force take place in the same universe. But to go through the process of seeing Arthur get to this point, and then having Excalibur forged twice and being this improved super weapon, now we know the origins of Excalibur the Blade from Soul Eater. I gotta watch Soul Eater again now. Because of this! Oh my goodness! You've been sitting on that one for a while? Oh! Fools! Excalibur! Excalibur! Like his whole song! Huh. So it's true that when a weapon is used with fervent enough emotion, it gains a soul. Fools! And then we cut back to Shinra looking at Haomiya, and then Sho.
Whether you give up or not, we three are the only ones left on Earth. What can you hope to accomplish? I don't care about the collective unconscious or your philosophies. I just don't want to let the world end like this.
And then Sho smiles.
That is my hope.
And then, as Shinra's standing there, something starts to appear right next to him out of the flames of Adolla. And Shinra looks over. As his mother, as Mari, Infernal Mari, appears out of the fire right next to her son.
Mom?
And that's the end of chapter 292. Onwards to 293, the Kusakabe family. And we're having a flashback with Mari cooking or doing something in the kitchen. We got Shinra inside of his room with Sho reading a picture book on dragons. Then we have Mari, and she's cooking something. If that's stir fry or if that's curry rice, ooh, that looks so good. But she's cooking something, and I think I see some shrimp in there. I see some shrimp. I see some shrimp in there. But we have Sho, who's like a baby, and Shinra's, checking on him.
Good morning, Sho. Mom! Sho's awake! All right, let's all have lunch together. Wait just a minute.
And then it shows Shinra standing there right next to his mom.
Come on, there has to be something. Oh, in that case, will you set the table? Got it!
And then Shinra goes out of his way to set a table for all of them.
He's already finished. He's good. 3 place settings.
And it shows all the plates set in a spot where Shinra can, it's all set very, very professional-like.
But Sho is still too young for solid foods.
Because Shinra sits down, and it shows like a baby bottle on the plate, along with a pacifier and like a little dish, a little ramekin. You love this family of 3 so much, and they go,
Itadakimasu! Thank you for the food.
I'm so glad the concept of saying grace for food is still a thing that exists so fervently within manga and everything else. Then we have Shinra eating his food.
Make sure you chew. Yummy! Shinra, thank you for always helping me. Of course! I'm a hero! It's my job to protect you and Sho!
Sometimes I scare myself with the amount of pitch I can give voices to. Sometimes I sometimes forget that I can reach those tones of voices. I really do be forgetting that sometimes. Then we have someone on the radio going,
There will be a solar eclipse this evening at 17:07. This is the time when the great sun god will be taking his leave. Please avoid going outside unless necessary and enjoy a relaxing evening at home. Now for our next song.
And Shinra's listening, and then we have Shinra asking his mom going,
Hey Mom, what's a solar eclipse? It's when the sun hides behind the moon. The great sun god will be gone for a little while, so we're going to stay at home tonight, okay?
And then Shinra goes,
Huh, that sounds like big trouble. But don't you worry, Sho.
as Shinra opens up the door and looks outside.
Hello? Shinra? What are you doing? Don't worry, ma'am. I'm keeping watch to make sure the eclipse doesn't come inside. The eclipse isn't until this evening. Are you going to sit there all day? A hero never lets his guard down.
And then Mari pokes her son in the cheek.
I'm counting on you, soldier Shinra. Yes, ma'am.
And then, while Mari walks away, Shinra is just sitting there, watching. And then it starts to get to nighttime, and Shinra starts to doze off, and he starts to nod off. And then he starts rubbing his eyes and blinking, trying to keep himself awake.
Shinra, it's time for a break.
And she goes over and she sees that Shinra is completely knocked out. And she smiles and puts a blanket over him while he's fast asleep. And he apparently, I want to say he either sleeps till morning. Yeah, he sleeps till morning, or it's still nighttime. And yeah, it's still plenty of daylight out, but it's really starting to set now. Then we have the radio feed going.
The eclipse will begin in just a few minutes. Do not go outside unless absolutely necessary.
And we have Sho, who starts crying in his crib. And then Mari checks on him.
What's wrong? Are you scared of the eclipse? Don't worry, it's okay. There you go. You're okay.
And then Sho is still crying plenty. And Shinra wakes up. Yeah, Shinra wakes up. And Sho just keeps crying more and more and more.
Don't be scared. You're okay. You're okay.
And then it shows Shinra putting like a blanket over his shoulders as Sho's cries continue to increase.
Show! Oh,
As Shinra runs in and he trips over himself and he falls with his cape on his back.
don't worry, Show. Shinra Man will save you.
And then Baby Shinra's all like, Baby Show is all like,
What?
wait, what happened? Are we good? 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 It skipped. It skipped. Okay, we're still good. We're still good. I just had to double check. I had like the loading wheel. I wanted to make sure that nothing got lost. But good on your end. Good to know. But Shinra comes into the screen and he trips over his cape going,
Don't worry, Show. Shinra Man will save you.
and Baby Show is all like,
Shinra Man is here to save the day.
and then we have Mari kind of laughing a little bit.
What are you doing, Shinra? Are you okay, Shinra Man?
And then everyone is laughing. And then it shows Sho, who starts laughing as a little baby. You know, like,
We have nothing to fear now that Shinra Man is here.
and then Baby Sho is laughing. And then Shinra sees the eclipse about to happen outside as we zoom into it. And then it shows Mari holding on to Shinra as they watch the eclipse happen.
It's beautiful, isn't it?
As it shows Shinra and Sho, and then it cuts to the present, where Shinra and Sho are in the present. And then then we go back in time when it shows Shinra and Sho when they Adolla linked at a younger age, and it shows a hand from an eclipse reaching down towards them, and Shinra goes,
When we Adolla linked in the nether, I saw a hand. It was Mom?
and then Sho immediately embraces his mom, who's, you know, infernal. He just immediately embraces her.
Mother. Mother.
And then it shows Shinra standing there with Sho. And then Hamiya goes,
The world has been destroyed. Why would the evangelist his doppelganger?
What you mean? What do you mean? What do you mean that Shinra's mom's going in? What do you mean Shinra's mom is the doppelganger of the evangelist? Excuse me? Excuse me? What do you mean she's the doppelganger of the evangelist? What you mean? And that's oh, that's not fair. That's not fair. What you mean? What you mean? How many chapters do I have left? How many chapters do I have left? Okay, 4 and 5. We got 2 more chapters for this volume. Oh my goodness, that was the end of chapter 293 onwards to 294, Despair versus Hope. What you mean that Mari's the doppelganger of the evangelist?
Mom?
Shinra. Sho. Brother? What's wrong, Shinra?
Mom, I'm sorry. I broke my promise. 12 years ago in the fire, I couldn't protect you or Sho.
Well, did you give up?
And then Shinra shakes his head and goes,
I haven't given up, Mom. I almost gave up, but if I do, he's gonna yell at me again.
He?
I mean, I've grown up, see? And I met a lot of people. People I really care about. I'd love for you to meet them too. The coolest commanding officers in the whole world. And the kids who joined at the same time as me. They can be loud and annoying, but I know I can count on them. Then there are the classy proto-nationalists who are always training me. There are so many people in my life now.
I see.
I'd go to Asakusa, and sometimes their accent would rub off on me.
and it just shows Sho just listening to his brother talk to his mom.
And the guy I mentioned earlier? I'm not too excited about you meeting him, actually.
As it cuts to Arthur, still in space, still just chilling in space.
But yeah, he's my friend.
You have a friend? Yeah, and you have to stand by your friends, right? He would never give up. Ever. So neither will I. They're all gone now, but there are so many people I want to introduce you to.
And then it shows the real mouth of Mari underneath the infernal teeth that's over her face as she goes,
If I know you, Shinra, you can do this.
Yeah!
as Shinra turns around and faces Haomiya. So we got the full Kusakabe family facing down the Evangelist. I never thought. Sorry, the boys were being rowdy in the background again. But we had the full Kusakabe family facing down the Evangelist.
You still refuse to give up. Hope is the curse that causes human suffering, and yet you refuse to let it go. It must be that sentiment that summoned this devil. My mom is not a devil! Mari Kusakabe is the Evangelist's doppelganger. The Evangelist is the symbol of despair and the salvation of humankind. Your mother is hope, the one blemish remaining within that despair. Oh, so that's why I'm so full of hope right now.
As the shockwaves get sent towards Shinra and Sho, but it doesn't really affect them all that much.
Stand back, mother.
I'm gonna make a breeze!
As Shinra flies towards the Evangelist.
Because even a breeze, sooner or later! But you can no longer regenerate even a breath of air.
As Shinra strikes towards Haomiya, but then he hits a shield.
What the? Sister Iris's grace? It is now impossible for you to create the smallest stir, and possibility you may have had is lost. Amaterasu is with me as well, with her light of madness.
As we see all of these big old lights just appear from the Evangelist, and there's just this big light explosion from the epicenter of Haomiya and the Evangelist, and Sho and Shinra are immediately launched backwards. And the blast is so big that it actually can be seen through all the flames of Adolla. And we see feathers in the air, as we see Sho is, being held on to by his mom. And we see Shinra, they're all in the air, and then there's just this massive explosion from what Haomiya just did. It's literally a mushroom cloud of titanic proportions.
All you brothers have accomplished is to stop time and delay the future of despair. Inca's foresight, Sister Iris's grace, how can I fight her? What can I do against the Saintess? Is there any way? No, there's nothing I can do. I've already done everything I could possibly try.
And then Sho.
Then are you giving up?
No, Sho, I'm not.
Yo, Yoda, what's going on?
I think that the Saintess was kind of right when she said I made it this far because of the flames of revenge. But that's not because I was out to get revenge. I only wanted to keep my promise to you and Mom. It was just because you both meant so much to me. So it's because of the two of you that I was able to make it this far. Sho, Mom, give me your hands. Let's join our hearts and join our souls as one.
As we see this big old flaming soul, the type of soul shape in Soul Eater. Lucas said that he joined yesterday. Did he? Yes, he did. He was present during my chill power wash simulator stream, talking about how he was saying both of you guys were from Africa, how you're from Ethiopia and he came from Kenya. So that was surprising because I had no idea where you guys were from, and I welcomed him like I do anybody else. We had a good time when he was there.
Let's join our hearts and join our souls as one!
And it shows Shinra, apparently his soul, in front of him, and it's drawn the exact same way you would see a soul in Soul Eater. Mari doesn't say anything, but Sho goes,
Mother, what is the matter? My little Sho, the boy I held in my arms, is holding me in his. You two have both grown so much.
And then Sho and Shinra just smile.
I thought you were both dead, but you're alive. To me, that's a miracle. If we unite as a family.
And it shows Haomiya looking up at them. And then it shows Shinra as I guess his soul is flaming in front of him.
We can make a miracle!
And that's the end of chapter 294. Onwards to 295 in the last chapter of this volume. We are almost done with this series. Chapter 295. Here he comes to save the day. It's really just here to save the day. Then we get more narration. Third in line from the solar system's sun was a blue watery planet. Now, in its place, there is a second sun. There is nothing left of the life that once flourished on that planet. All that remains are black flames and despair. That despair is what the humans of that planet subconsciously wished for. The Saintess who was meant to stand witness until the revelation of God had been fulfilled ever wit. And then it cuts to the Kusakabe family.
We're gonna make a miracle!
And then it has Haomiya praying.
I weep that you would oppose the collective unconscious. It is the revelation of God, and you conspire to defy it to the bitter end. You truly are, devil.
Brother, what exactly is your plan?
Yeah, what is the plan?
It takes little thought to understand that the situation is desperate.
She said that Mom's mom is the evangelist's doppelganger, and we know that the Saintess doesn't lie. The evangelist is despair. Mom is hope. The fact that Mom is here now means that there's still a glimmer of hope.
But what can we do?
What is the evangelist doing? She's just been floating behind the Saintess all this time.
The Saintess has merged with the Evangelist. She carries the weight of despair on her shoulders.
In that case, Sho, Mom, we'll hold hope in our hearts.
The angel, the hero, the hope.
With hope in our hearts, we'll join our souls as one!
And then it shows the souls of both Sho, Mari, and Shinra enveloping all three as while they're floating in this air of flames. This air of flames. We have, this is a cool panel.
Soul Resonance!
Wow, this really is Soul Eater. We've entered into Soul Eater territory now. We entered into Soul Eater territory now. Soul Resonance is in a Soul Eater. Oh, come on. Soul
Resonance!
And it shows all three of their faces. And then, all of a sudden, a big old gigantic soul, literally a soul from Soul Eater, just envelops the sky. And it has like a big toothy grin on its face, like a toothy maw on its face. And the wind is so forceful that it reaches Haomiya, though she's shielding herself with Sister Iris's, protective grace. And then it's just this big old soul just floating in front of Haomiya, and there's someone in front of it. And it's a shape going,
when the planet is plunged in despair, with hope in his heart, he comes to save the day!
And the next two panels are just two devious-looking eyes and a big toothy grin.
Shinra Bancho Man!
And Shinra has apparently taken on a brand new form. A brand new form. His hair's flared up. He has horns just like his mom. His hair is white like his brother. He has horns on the front of his head. He has horns on his head. And he's dressed up like in this big old garb. And he's got like circles and symbols all going up across his body and everything. Shinra Bancho Man! And this is Shinra just in the air, and he even looks like he's drawn differently.
My hope is unstoppable. I can't help but smile. Let's see who's better, hope or your whiny little despair.
Shinra looks just like a Ashura right now, like a big old deity. He even has like wisps of words that are floating off of him. And he's floating there in front of Haomiya, as Haomiya continues to, shed tears of despair. To be continued and concluded in volume 34. There's only one translation notes, and it's about Shinra Bancho Man, page 182. The phrase Shinra Bancho is taken from a Japanese 4-kanji idiom, meaning simply all creation, the sum of all things in the universe, or to use a fitting English idiom, everything under the sun. Ladies and gentlemen, we are done with volume 33 of Fire Force. Tomorrow, I bring my entire Fire Force read-through to a close. And that will conclude an entire month and some days. Well, pretty much, I'll just say an entire month. An entire month of me reading nothing but Fire Force for all of you. So many things happen. The Great Cataclysm has consumed the entire planet, with the only people who are still alive who can still tangibly see being Mari Kusakabe, Shinra Kusakabe, Sho Kusakabe, and Arthur Boyle. They're the only ones who are still alive, with Arthur just chilling out in space, and we seeing the first manifestation of Excalibur being, resonated into the sword itself. The Excalibur that everyone would love to hate later on in the Soul Eater series, we see his first manifestation in his blade, in his own blade. And we're seeing more and more and more as it starts to lean towards the world of Soul Eater. So what did I think of this volume? Absolutely fantastic. While I'm sad that Captain Obi was killed by his own doppelganger, and that jump-started the world being turned into a brand new Black Sun. The fact that Mari Kusakabe appeared, finding out she's the doppelganger of the Evangelist herself, and all of them joining their hearts as one in order to become this one form that's powerful enough to hopefully stand up against Haomiya and the Evangelist. This was an amazing volume. Just the sheer amount of intensity of everything that was happening. I enjoyed all of it. But ladies and gentlemen, this is the end of the second to last live stream of me and Fire Force. We have one more, and I have to say that the entirety of the series has gone above and beyond I could have ever thought the series was going to go to after watching the anime and where I last left off. I never knew that things would get this far or get this intense or this amazing. But I will save my entire final thoughts for what I thought of this series as a whole for when we read the final volume tomorrow. So everyone, I got to go ahead and call it here because I got to double check and see if the new chapter of One Punch Man is out right now. If it is, then I got to set up for that. It is, so I got to go ahead and set up for that. I'm going to see if I can get it ready for 1:30. So everyone, this was a great volume. I loved reading it for all of you. Hope you all enjoyed the dramatic reading and the voices. It's what I do here if you didn't know. All I can say to you is, hope y'all enjoyed. Can't wait to see you all in my next video. Like, comment, subscribe, even become a member, because I am always looking forward to entertaining you. So have a fantastic day, and once again, as always, later, peoples. I can't believe I forgot to take my headphones out.